How many offers did they get? Oh my god. You're kidding. That many offers? Well, what was their secret? Uh-huh. Oh. Okay, well, let me type this down before I forget. Hold on. Not very good with typing with one hand. Hold on. That's how many offers they got. And with this secret, well, I promise I won't share it with anybody. Sorry about that. I was finishing up a call. Hello. If you're just joining us for the very first time, my name is Andrew from DataLIVE. But what I want you to take away from that is that I am from somewhere, and we are all from somewhere. With that in mind, welcome. I'm just going to head on over to the exclusive Discord, and I'm going to invite a couple people to make sure that people know what to do. What's up, Hector, Anish, and Prinmir? Video sharing. Let's share this video. If you're just joining us for the first time, I'm a lead data scientist, but that's none of your concern. You want to know how to crack the data science interview space, or perhaps just grow your wealth. Well, that's what we're here for. We're here to help you do exactly that. Why am I not getting interviews? Well, this is part AMA, part me telling you exactly how to expect the unexpected when it comes to interviews. And there you go. Frankson says, hey, Andrew, and Tyrese says, what's up, Andrew? Fresh cut, bro. Thank you. Well, that means a lot. You can tell that this is a pretty wholesome community. Well, what I want to show with this wholesome community right now is this beautiful resume template. This resume template already belongs to you. Fair and simple. You get this resume template if you want it. The way to get it is, I'll show you in a little bit, but let me walk through it first before we go any deeper. This is a resume template of someone who is probably very likely to be getting a first round interview. Now, the question that interviewers ask when they consider whether or not to give you a first round is, hey, does this person match our very, very basic guidelines for this role? And does this person seem like they're going to pass my first round? And a recruiter and a recruiter and a headhunter is very different from a hiring manager, right? A recruiter is someone who is trying to find out if, first of all, you are who you say you are. So when you pick up the phone, it sounds like you're a person that matches the background of your resume. Second of all, they're trying to figure out whether or not those skills are directly applicable to the job at hand. And then finally, they are trying to figure out whether or not they can pass you along the chain of command, the ladder, to another person. So how does this resume fit in that grand scope? Well, you might notice that there is great university and previous university already in the education. So this person starts with a master's. Now, if you're curious about exactly what it takes to get into data science without a master's, hold on. It says this stream's current bit rate is lower than the something. Let me know if there's some weird bit rate issues, but I seriously doubt it. How's it going? Good morning. Anish and Frankson and Tyrese and Bassam. Welcome, welcome. You might have noticed that I am no longer scheduling or telling you guys ahead of time that these things are happening. It's because it is the luck of the draw with DataLIVE. You are now going to have to keep your eyes peeled. But don't be worried, because they're always going to be in Pacific friendly time, Eastern friendly time, and India standard friendly time. Vitor says, hello, Andrew and everyone. Greetings from Brazil. So cool. Awesome of you to join, Vitor. And of course, I will butcher everyone's name for free and for profit. So the main idea behind this resume template is that it has the language to land not only the recruiter who needs to look at it with their human squishy eyes and check out a couple of words that might pop out here. For this first role, they're probably going to look at the fact that you're including metrics and a KPI, Dow churn by 12%. They're also going to look at whether or not you have had cross-functional jobs and roles where you are interacting with product-specific people, like product managers. And then finally, this resume template is keeping in mind that there are important things to note for each part of your job cycle. Now, not all of these jobs are going to be relevant to your job or your specific situation, but be prepared to be able to talk about each and every single one of these. Now, the main point of this video, though, to stay on track, is to help you figure out why you haven't been getting interviews, or if you have been getting interviews but getting stuck at the second, third, or final round, to be able to push through. And then finally get a couple more insights about exactly what to expect as the winter months come around. Now, the first thing I will say about the holiday season is that you're probably going to be hard pressed to find a job this time of year. If you have any time struggled during your search, this is not going to be a better time or a more fruitful time. The biggest reason why is because at this time of year, especially this year in all of human history, people are going to be winding up like a rubber band and then getting ready to spring when the prospect of being able to take a culturally acceptable vacation comes up. And that is the holidays, right? Thanksgiving is coming up pretty soon. You have the Christmas, the Kwanzaa, and the general holiday times that you are then going to be able to say push off everything for the end of the quarter. So that is from the hiring manager's point of view and from the people who will ultimately interview point of view. The other point of view to consider is the fact that every single head count, every single person that is on a company needs to be considered in the budget. And the budget, sadly for most companies, has already been set up for the rest of Q4 or quarter four, the last quarter of the year. Whatever money that they have is slowly dwindling as they bring on the last people that could possibly join the company, and especially in this economic downturn and the uncertainty of what's going to happen after this week in America, there is going to be worldwide volatility in terms of being able to hire certain people. Okay, so here's your insight number one. Get hired as fast as you can. Grind up to, sleep is important, but you know what's more important? Grinding right now. Being sure that you are taking the time to sit down with a good SQL book. There's a description, there's a link down below if you're looking for your first SQL book. Sit down with a incredible online tutorial or YouTube personality and making sure to hit the smash out of that like button and comment down below. Comment down below on each of my videos so that you can get a chance to win a free mentorship session with me. I'm trying every single week right now to get a free mentorship session. Last week was Boris Giba, and this week it could be you. So I count every single comment equally, put them in a random number generator, and I pull it out of a hat. Could easily be you if you're looking for mentorship for free. So that said, how exactly am I supposed to be able to get the experiences on this resume? I am a mentor for Sharpest Minds, and a good amount of the feedback I get from mentees is that, hey, sometimes I don't know exactly what I can do, especially since you're telling me that time is short, to be able to get some of this experience right now and try to get in front of the interviewer. Well, that's actually something that I cover a little lower in this resume. This one. Let's say, for example, that you were a business analyst or someone that is in the professional services world, mostly working with Excel and not really with script. I'm sure that a lot of people have had this kind of experience. I've had this kind of experience, right? I need to be able to figure out what I need to do to turn this experience into something that I can leverage into an interview. So, how? Anybody have any suggestions in the comments while I drink my tea? It's tiring to talk out loud to myself. But, you know, YouTube, the algorithm really favors live streams, and right now I'm trying to get a competitive edge. The other thing I want to do with this channel is to start moving into a space of exciting content so that you guys want to watch until the very end. That is really super duper important for the algorithm, that you stay to the end of each of my videos and never forget to smash the heck out of that like button. Let's see what Anish is trying to say. He says, try to deliver a business value in a small intern. So true. If you saw my highlighted text in red, you would have noticed that that is exactly what I am trying to convey in these kind of experiences. You're focusing on business value. You're also focusing on learning, collaboration, and overcoming novel challenges for your internship positions. So this is really paramount. You guys are looking to be able to find a way to tell your story constructively, because no one else in the world has a story like yours. You are unique for that reason. So, when you are focusing on learning, collaboration, and that business value, Anish also says, like a generic solution for a problem that can be applied to the problem in the company that we are applying for. So true. You don't have to be a business like Shark Tank expert to be able to figure out exactly what you need to write. Let me make my face bigger. Zoop. Do you guys like the border? Let me know in the live chat whether or not you like the upgrade. We have the live chat on the left side. We have this big old subscribe button. We have me on the right side. Like always, this is just how everything should be perfectly balanced. Okay, so here this person, this Eat Data business analyst intern, was able to design a universal ontology library in Python and Keras for enterprise NLG engine. Now, that just specifically says designed, right? This is talking about someone who is possibly working with other interns in more engineering focus and helped them architect exactly what should be going on. And this is just, you know, whiteboarding and drawing how a system should be talking to itself, not exactly coding it or producing it or creating the code itself. That is actually pretty important of a distinction. Now, usually in a role, you want to be able to talk about your specific role in a group and talk about the specific size of the group. So P-Pop says, I like the border. Thank you. If you are talking about this role specifically, then you can talk about whether or not you are able to work in parallel or perhaps in an analog position to Python and Keras and someone else implementing the code. If you don't know the code yet, that is something that you can start leveraging at your job right now or in your previous jobs. If you've ever interacted with someone in a more engineering focus, you want to be able to talk to them and focus on whether or not the concept is something that you can comprehend and then tell in a later interview. If that's the case, if it checks all the boxes, check, then you want to be able to say, this is a role that I can really leverage as my first bullet point on this resume, right? Oftentimes, on my resume personally, a lot of the bullet points are actually just side hustles of projects that I started getting involved with when I started talking to the right people who were passionate about doing something that wasn't even their part of their job, right? It ultimately ends up being collecting as many technically focused projects under your belt, and who knows when they're going to be relevant to a position or to a dream position, for example. So that's why you want to keep a master resume, something multiple pages long that you can cut down to a single page. That's another problem. If you are not getting interviews, your resume is probably longer than a page. In America, in Silicon Valley, and in a lot of similar geos and industries, your resume needs to be exactly one sheet long, fits nicely in a PDF. If it's anything bigger, you're gonna have a demerit already. So we're going to talk about how many demerits you can possibly have in a resume. You can have one for having a resume that is too long. You can have one that has I send this resume template out to people and they keep the red coloring and highlighting. That's a demerit. You don't want to have too many different colors on your resume. You also don't want to be able to have your picture on your resume. So that's just a personal preference. But if you're not going for a design, most of the time a hiring manager doesn't want to see your picture on the resume. It takes up unnecessary space and it draws away from your candidacy from the work you've already done. Of course, times could be changing. I could be eating my words in the next couple of years. But as of right now, the year 2020, don't put your picture on the resume. Also, and this is something that Joshua Fluke said that is carried with me until far beyond the ends of time. If you need to be able to brand something as a data scientist, but it turns out that you were closer to a business intelligence consultant or engineer, but you did everything in Python, you did everything in SQL, and you were developing hypotheses, you were building out statistics, you were creating the groundwork for a data science team when there was no opportunity for anybody on the team to be called a data scientist. This is the chance to brand your job based on the work that you did and not the title that you were given. So to keep that with a grain of salt, that you need to have a good relationship with that company. But the main point is that when a company has a role that is as difficult to define and keep a handle on consistently across different industries and different companies as data scientist, it depends on what kind of role and what kind of job you actually did. I want to open it up to questions. So usually we have questions flooding in about, this is an Ask Me Anything. So we want to be able to open it up to my life here in Silicon Valley, how I was able to be able to leverage different job offers against each other, what I do to make sure that I get an interview in the very first time and then I ace it the second and third round. If you have questions like that, lead me to it if you're in the live stream, and I'll check it out on this live chat right in the left corner. You see, isn't that cool? See that right there? Isn't that super dope? I learned OBS this morning in 10 minutes. Today's tea is a double bergamot Earl Grey black tea. I found it on my desk in the morning. That's how you know you have a really good roommate. If you find that the caffeine is already on your desk before you start the day. If you guys are just joining, my name is Andrew. This is a channel where we talk about growth, and this is a chance to grow your salary, your compensation, in the next 6 months, all the way up to 6 figures. And whether that is through passive income, whether that is through cracking the data science interview, whether that is just helping your boss create a case for you that you deserve more money and you have the skills to be able to prove it, getting that 20 to 40% raise in compensation is what I'm hoping to be able to help you to do. Anish, today you are asking the questions. I have one question regarding the resume. What's your advice if a candidate is applying? Should he keep general resume that applies to multiple jobs or tailor every resume for every application? Love that question. Anish, that's a really good question. I'm going to see what Wilson has. Just got here. Also, who really still consumes caffeine in 2020? Good question. Consumes, yes, I inject it into my soul directly, and it's soul transfusion every day. And it's just a really good question, and that's why I want to bring you to this website. It is called AngelList, and you might notice that it is just another job application platform, right? It also is a news aggregation platform, and they're trying to do a whole bunch of stuff, but they may basically keep their tabs on different smaller sized companies going through a startup funding rounds, for example. And now they are also creating this job board that is probably the easiest darn job board to to apply to. This is much easier than LinkedIn, which I'll show you in just a second. But for example, you don't even have to plug in too many filters, and then now you suddenly see that there is applied research data scientist, 125,000 to 170,000, and data scientist in San Francisco, 115 to 175,000. To apply, you probably want to apply for a fresh job. So this one was from almost a year ago, but this one's from 2 weeks ago. When you hit apply, you send application. You say, what's up, Max? Probably not. Hey, Max. I am hopeful that our conversation is a good one. That's a bad intro, but you know, sometimes you just gotta get the laughs out there, and then you're done. Right? Most of the jobs actually don't even require you to have a note. Let's say signified. Let's go to this one. Senior data scientist, New York, remote possible. I like that. Send application. Okay. You guys are making me look bad. Slice. Apply. Send application. Patreon. Ooh, this job I'm actually kind of interested in. Okay, this one didn't require a note. So most of these jobs don't require a note. And you apply in the course of like 10 seconds, right? Or honestly, 1 second, because you could just go down and go bop, 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 come back, bop, 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 bop. That is your morning routine now, right? You can use a general resume if you are applying to these jobs that take a hot second, right? It is still a better use of your time to drop your resume blankly and then focus on the briefcase technique and the third door technique that we talked about over on the Jeff interview. It's either one of the videos where I have a Thanos glove, and he talks about his 7 job offers in the pandemic. So this is something akin to going up to Patreon and saying, I am a core user. I actually am. If you wanted to check out my Patreon, let's do a hot plug. Why not? And this is exactly how you do the briefcase method. So it's kind of like a plug for a plug in the best way possible. So I go to Patreon, and I see that there are so many lovely tiers on Patreon. You can contribute just a couple of dollars as an intern, and you get to show my videos a day earlier. Or you can contribute a little more money, and then you get access to behind-the-scenes content. You get random shout-outs in future videos. You get your name in the credits of future videos, and you get the private Discord to be able to get free coaching from me, basically at any time. And then you get this My Boss tier, right? And you are now my boss. Now, not only do you get everything in the previous tiers, but you get to tell me what to do. And you get a free coaching session, which is usually almost $200. So this is just a steal. One of the core problems I have with the Patreon platform is that you have no flexibility to be able to have more than 3 tiers show up at the same time. So let's see what happens if you try to make 3 tiers happen. You go to settings. I promise you, this is the best way to get a job. You have to be a core user of the product, and then you have to tell them something that's wrong with it. First of all, the UI is impossible to use. I can't figure out how to get to tiers right now. Edit your page. Tiers. Gosh, that took forever. Okay, so you notice that I actually have 5 tiers, right? I have intern, entry-level hire, senior hire, lead, and my boss. But the problem with this is that if you have anything more than 3 tiers, you can't even have them show up at the exact same time. For example, let me just publish this one. I unpublished it just so that the 3 that I wanted to show up would actually show up. Publish, publish. Now we go back to all those tiers, and you see the one that I just put up showed up. But now the one that I actually like a lot, the one with Meatball and his glasses, you have to click show more, and then it actually shows up. So this is a big issue because honestly, this doesn't fit every single, lifestyle. It doesn't. It could easily fit 4 different tiers right here, and that would actually be perfect for most people most of the creators that I've talked to. So this is a plug. Go and support me. This is a very, very cheap way, or perhaps a very, very good deal to get free coaching from me. But at the same time, this is something that I can go to LinkedIn, to a Patreon data scientist, engineer, or product manager and say, this is something that I have a big beef with. I don't like how Patreon is set up, and I have the data to back it up. You scrape some data, either survey data from core users on a Reddit post, or you go and actually use a Selenium scraper and you scrape some of the data if it's relevant, like a Facebook problem, an Instagram problem, a TikTok problem, and then you say, I have the data science proof of work right here. This might take you up to 2 hours, up to a whole day of work, but you can use that to leverage your first communication into Patreon. One of the people that you send it on LinkedIn, you can send it to 10 people, 20 people. One of those people is going to notice. If I saw that and you said, I'm interested in working at your company, I would immediately funnel you to a hiring manager and get you an interview. I would do anything it takes because I noticed that you have done just a ton of free work for my company. I didn't ask you to do this, and it seems like you're a core user, so you're someone that we actually want to bring on board. So that's the briefcase technique. It is the third door that you can walk through and make it easier to make a case for the next person. The hiring manager needs to be made a case from, the recruiter needs to be made a case from the job website, you know. Everybody has something to gain from you getting a job. See more questions. Wilson says, IV drip? Yes, that's the kind of caffeine I need. Anish says, yes, the morning 8 to 10 a.m. routine these days, and then the cold emailing for another couple hours. Cold emails need to be from a good place. And the fastest, easiest way, if you don't want to do the briefcase technique, which, you know, more power to you, is that if you don't want to do the briefcase technique, you could easily just go from a place of pure modesty, right? I am a data scientist on the market. I've accomplished good things, and currently I am not employed because of XYZ situation. I appreciate that you are a senior person in the field, and I want to know exactly how to become a person of ultimately of a learning standpoint, of a growth standpoint, and of an achievement standpoint as you, right? You don't have to be reverent of this person. You don't have to say that this person is you don't have to, you know, kiss butt to someone on LinkedIn, but you do want to show that you're not trying to become a show-offy person. You're just trying to say, give me a chance. I can try to make you pretty proud of referring me. Once again, and I've said this before, everyone has something to gain when they refer you. Most FANG companies have an internal referral program where they have somewhere between $1,000 to $10,000 and more in terms of a bounty when they refer the right person. If you get hired, they get money, and that's just a good incentive program. That's how you keep talent within the circle of the company itself, and it makes the recruiter's jobs a lot easier. So understand that your value is inherent to the company. Everybody stands something to gain when you get hired, especially you. But you know what? The biggest thing you can do to start increasing your ability is to smash that like button, you know? Go ahead and give it a charge of like. And if I see just a single one of your comments from the live chat over on one of my posts where I talk about weekly questions like SQL and logic, or I talk about just what you think about the data science community and what it means to start growing your wealth, I would love that. Love to see that. Muhammad says, is IBM a good company to get an intern and also for getting a data science job? That would be, if you mean by good, as in it will set you up for success, then yes, IBM is a great company to be able to start off at. If you have the opportunity to work for IBM, you should take it. It's a really good opportunity. That said, is it easy, or is it something that is pretty straightforward? I would imagine no. I have never worked for IBM, and I would love to be able to ultimately have the opportunity to work with them. That's something that I would like to talk about eventually, is sponsorships and partnerships, right? That's something that Ken G is starting to move into, and he is worlds larger than my channel. I would ultimately love to bring that into the fold of the income streams, like the video I put up on Monday. But as of right now, it's not happening quite yet. But I am in talks with Webull, so let's see if they accept my application. Webull, if you're watching this because I sent you my application earlier today, approve me. Mohammed says, I think IBM is easy to get into. Awesome. If you want to come on the show and talk about your experience with IBM, I would love to talk about exactly how you were able to crack that data science interview or any kind of tech interview. So, back to that resume. One of the things that we want to be able to highlight on the staff data scientist position is the fact that you want to be able to keep your accomplishments relevant to the job description and rooted in your actions. That's what recruiters and hiring managers are looking for, is that you are keeping yourself specifically based in the topics and the accomplishments that you were able to provide. And that's going to be one of the first questions. If you have all these great things on the resume, you either are going to be flagged as too boastful, can't tell any of this stuff is real, or let's give them a shot. But the first question we're going to say is, hey, what part of this did you actually have to be involved in, right? Make sure you put your numbers at the very top. Make sure you have the metrics all written out. Mohammed says, another question, how hard is it to get a job at Google? I would imagine pretty darn hard. Google is the McKinsey, Bain, and BCG of tech. It is going to be the upper echelon of any kind of job, not just product management or software engineering, but definitely data science as well. That's one of the main things to consider, right? Is that Google is going to be more technical in the FANG spectrum than a Facebook, for example. Mainly because of their technical stack. I need to turn off my sound. There we go. Muhammad says, I'm a student. I heard from somewhere that IBM is easy to get into. That would... I really want to know who said that, because IBM is a well-established company. It supposedly is, one of the leading members of creating, AI strategic advantages, such as Watson. If you were able to work for IBM, perhaps someone found it easier to get in not as a data scientist. But if it's easy to get in as a data scientist, I would love to hear more about it. Frankson says, can you guys hear me okay? I never know how to use this microphone. Frankson says, would it be a hindrance to have mostly personal school projects on your resume as opposed to actual data jobs? That's the time, this is the time of branding. You want to be able to have a branding workshop with yourself and say, I could brand these as school projects. Or I could take one extra step and deploy it. Make it into an application, either with Flask, Django, Streamlit, or some sort of mobile application. And then once people start using it, it is no longer a school project. If I can get 1,000 users online, put it on Reddit, put it on some online forum, put it on Facebook, put it on YouTube, put it on my channel. Hey, I will shout you out on my channel if you go to Patreon. I will shout you out and say, listen, this person has made this application. Then suddenly you have my fan base to be able to look at your application, start using it. You count how many people have used it, host it on an AWS instance, an EC2 instance, or an EMR cluster, and now you can make that into an actual project that was not school related at all. So that's something to consider. The best thing you could do is try to get a part-time job or an internship, and then try to pitch a project you've already completed as something that is relevant to the internship itself. That way, suddenly you have something to talk about as not only a non-school project and non-school project, you have something that was a business project. That's something really important and interesting. Wilson Mann says, maybe, but if you don't have actual data science jobs, you got to work with what you got, I would think. Remember, branding is everything. Branding is everything. And one of the main things that a job recruiter. So remember, you have to think from the point of view of people actually part of this incentive cycle. There's the recruiter or the headhunter. There is the hiring manager, right? And then there are other data scientists. Other data scientists have very little incentive to help get you on because they're gonna have to work with you, and so they have to really like you. So they're probably the hardest people to impress, but they also don't have. They're also very marginal. They're elastic, right? They can be impressed pretty easily because they have no hard incentives one way or the other. Everyone else has an incentive to hire you, especially if you had a referral. This person has money on the line. But the recruiter and the headhunter has a quota, has something that they, either a quota or a bounty on your head to be able to get you to the next step. So they're trying to find anything that they can, either relevant on your resume or something that you said in an interview, because you are being judged cumulatively over every single interview, whether or not you're a good fit. They're trying to make sure that you have the good platform to be able to increase your chances of getting the job. So if the next thing I say means anything to you, I hope that you take away the fact that nobody has ever questioned whether or not a project was a school project or a real project, right? I no longer put school projects on my resume, but when I had the opportunity to take the extra step and turn a school project and deploy it into a real project and then sell it on my resume as a real project, that is going to really up the game for the recruiter that can then go up the ladder and sell that to a hiring manager. Mohammed says, if I don't have any kind of degree, but I'm good with any specific technology, will Google hire me or someone else? Google is pretty darn clear that they need a master's. For most data science positions. Engineering positions need at least a bachelor's. But I don't work for Google. I would love to work for Google. So I can't tell you that you are going to have a hard time. I can only say that based on their job requirements, a degree is going to be helpful. Mohammed says, I enjoy your stream very much because you are the only tech person who comes live so frequently and I've subscribed to. Thank you so much, Mohammed. I appreciate the same exact appreciation back at you. I want to live stream so I can talk to you and answer your questions, but also because this is just helping me grow and defeat the algorithm. More people the channels that stream more ultimately have a little better, higher engagement. So that's why I want you to pay $0 for the next step. The next step I want you to do is go out and comment on one of my other videos. Go out and like all the videos that you've seen and watch them to the end. You have to start a video and watch it to the end. Can't tell you how important that is, but I appreciate you a lot. And everybody else on the channel that is watching right now and is watching in a playback. If this channel, you see the incremental improvements, you see the border on my webcam, you see the live stream on the side, I'm not moving around windows so much anymore. If you like that incremental improvement, gotta hit that like button. Frankson says, thank you. Great advice. Thank you, Frankson. All right. Well, how long have I been streaming? Hold on, I'm going to move it real quick. How long have I been streaming? 38 minutes. Wow. So I usually stream for an hour, so we have 20 more minutes to talk about anything you want. Or I can just continue moving through this resume. If you wanted this resume, all you need to do, because I'm still giving it away, is go to DataLiveTech.com. Trying to rebrand away from DataLeap Tech and to just DataLeap. But you will be surprised how difficult it is, especially since I've already paid for this domain. Being indecisive is bad as an entrepreneur. So leap into data science. Oh gosh, where do I get this free resume template? Where could it be? Where could it be? Oh, look at all these companies. Look at where could it be? Where could it be? Oh, here it is, at the very top. Download this resume for free. When you hit this boom button, you get the PDF. Oh, this is the wrong PDF. Oh, has this been the wrong PDF this whole time? Now this is more of a prank video, a prank on myself. But if you practice email, then you'll be able to get the right template. Let me just fix this real quick. This is becoming a different kind of live stream. This is the 66 Days of Data website that we've never actually published, or actually it is published, but we never talked about it for some reason. Got it. Give me just 3 seconds. Free resume template. Edit. Really surprised that this is not the right document. Browse. Documents. Resumes. DataLIVE resume template. Actually, was that the right one? DataLIVE resume template PDF. Yeah, that's right. Okay, and then we go save, and then we go publish. Okay, what else has everyone said? Ravi says, hey Andrew, nice hairstyle. Thank you, Ravi. Devarsh says, how does a foreign student go about finding unpaid paid data science internship at a US startup? I have a friend interning at Flutter program. I don't know what a Flutter program is, but it sounds very interesting. So a foreign student is going to struggle, is the truth of the matter. A foreign student that tries to get a, there we go. Let me send you the full doc. Here, you go here, and then you go give me your information, and then I don't send you any emails because I don't have any email newsletters ready yet. But I'll keep your email safe. So yeah, how does a foreign student go about finding unpaid or paid data science internships? This is hard. Most companies that need data science is either going to pay really well for it, but they need good talent, or they're going to not pay well for it, but then you're not going to actually learn anything. Now take in contrast that you could go for a product management internship or a software engineering internship and then learn a ton. Product management is kind of the same issue, which is like an intern doing product management, like what are they actually going to do? Not a lot of management, but definitely a lot of learning, but then they're a liability. So that's the question, right? How much of a liability are you versus how good are you at actually contributing something to the internship? So the answer is, if you're a foreign student and you need some work experience, you can start talking to local businesses or perhaps small companies in your local area that have offices there and say, hey, I will just come to work for free and I will build things out for you in Python and make things easier. There's the sell you can make. Hey, do you use Excel? I can make it much better if you let me try to automate it with Python or do something scalable or make your visualization scalable with Looker or Tableau or something free like the Google Suite. That is a great pitch because most companies are going to at least consider the risk, which is, okay, you're a kid who's not going to have access to our data. You see, that's kind of a bad match. If you're a student and you are going to be given access to like really sensitive proprietary data that mostly only experienced professionals are able to handle, that is concerning, right? A good company that's why freelance data science is really hard, because anybody who's willing to pay pennies for a freelance data scientist has no idea what a data scientist can do and probably will be disappointed. But if you have a good understanding of what you can do, go and automate their Excel ingestion and make their databases into SQLite and do something that makes it easy to then tell your story later and say, I came into this company when they had no data infrastructure and I did everything. That will be a story for the ages. Muhammad says, I found a very nice machine learning course by Stanford at Coursera and it's free. Yes, it is. I believe that was Data Professor. Data Professor has really good materials about that kind of junk. For this kind of spontaneous video, it really is ultimately going to be, is there enough timing in advance? Usually I do these on Thursdays. I'm going to keep them on Thursdays for now. But the timing is that it's already Friday in India. But at least you can expect that it's going to be at this. No, it's still Thursday in India. Never mind. But you're going to expect that this video comes out at a specific time. I'm not going to clog up your subscription feed by trying to say, hey, I'm going to live stream tomorrow. But it also doesn't give a lot of time for the sharpest minds and Discord community to have to react spontaneously. Of course, I don't take down my live streams. They're going to be up here at least for the foreseeable future, or until I get better at video editing, which I'm really hoping to do, to be able to create really good content for you guys. Muhammad says, do I do freelancing? I do not. This is my form of freelancing. I do mentorship, coaching, and I create free education. So I guess there is free in the stuff that I do, but it is not lancing. Okay. So LinkedIn, very similar to AngelList, except that you would then have to use Easy Apply feature to be able to get the same speed. If speed is not your main prerogative, then you could continue on with the briefcase method and the third door technique that I talked about earlier. And if you are curious about what that is, go ahead and just, after this live stream is over, scroll on back to earlier on in this video and check it out. Mohammed says it's 10:17 in Pakistan, and it is 12 hours ahead of the Bay. Cool. 12:17. What time is it right now? Oh, yeah. That's pretty cool. Devar says, thank you for the great insights. I'm actually just waiting on my master's term to start in spring. If you have education or something planned right now, I do think that is one of the best things you could possibly do as of right now, because the way that the economy is shaping up is that data science is still a very well sought after industry, but it's not competitive compared to the other industries, right? There's only very few people who understand the statistics, the modeling, and the computation and scripting necessary in the back end. So if you are a kind of person that wants to become someone who jumps into the job market right now, just be prepared that a lot of people are going to go on vacation. They're going to say, hey, I want to interview this guy, but I'm going on vacation. Oh, interview that guy. Oh, actually, it's going to be 2 more weeks until I come back from vacation. I interview that guy. Ultimately, there's going to be a rolling bowling ball of people that are not going to be able to interview in time. And then you might be pushed off until November, December, and then it's Christmas time, and then they have to push you off to Q1, right? If you want to prepare and study really hard in the next 2 months and then start applying in Q1, their budgets will be renewed. Depending on how the election changes everything in the next 2 days. Sorry, the next 2 weeks. This is going to be a renewed vigor in hiring only in Q1. Muhammad says, can I invest in US stocks from foreign? I don't know. Probably not. I'm not 100% sure. Because every single one of these investing applications like Robinhood, Webull, and SoFi all require you to have American residence. I could be wrong though. So if you want to check it out and try your luck, my description down below gives you a ton of free stocks for the next 3 days. Webull is having a promotion. I don't have a Webull link yet, but in the next 2 days maybe. But one of the things is that Robinhood gives you a free stock, and then SoFi just gives you $50 for free. So it's not even like you could end up getting like a $1 stock, or you could get up $50, 100% guaranteed. So check that out. Which city do I live in? I live in the South Bay, which is about an hour or 2 hours with traffic south of San Francisco. Surprisingly, the Bay is pretty big. All right. We're starting to wrap up, but that means that it's time for you to, think about what other video you want, or maybe a whole playlist of videos that you want to be able to look at, because this is a channel where the more videos you look at, the longer the YouTube session time you have, the better it is for me. So the algorithm, right? You want to be able to say, hey, Andrew is doing a good job. Let's show this video to more people. And then if I get more success and start growing a little more, then I have more funds from people who support the Patreon, from people who click the affiliate links to continue creating free content. As a lot of people might realize, on YouTube, you're making pennies from the actual, like, full-time, if not extra full-time job that you have. Muhammad says, did I watch Joma's video? I think I've watched almost every Joma video that's not an interview. And Muhammad says, please do 20 minutes more. Of course, as long as you have questions. I don't think I can do 20 minutes more. How long have I been doing this? I can do 10 minutes more. At least 10 minutes more, depending on how many people show up. Yes, but if you want... and another thing is that... ultimately, I want to be able to start moving these live streams to, you're still going to have live streams probably month by month, but ultimately I want to be able to start moving these live streams to the Patreon and the Discord server. So if you have a strong desire to continue supporting me, check out all these tiers. Check out these tiers. So many different ways to support Andrew from DataLIVE. Out of curiosity, how many hours a week do you work at your full-time job? That's a good question. I don't sleep very often, and I don't have a lot of hobbies outside of YouTube nowadays, except Dungeons and Dragons. If you want to play Dungeons and Dragons with me, that could be a fun tier opportunity on Patreon. But probably still around like 30 to 40 hours. So that's on top of this, which is another 30 to 40 hour job. I'm essentially working 2 jobs. Which is why I'm tired. So darn tired. Ravi says, when are we going to have the mock interviews, Andrew? Oh, right. Good question. That actually would be a really fun way to do the next live stream. The next live stream, we're going to have Ravi Tanwar come on, and we're going to have us do a live interview right in front of us. It's not going to be mock, because he is actually going to get a job depending on the end of the interview. Am I kidding or am I serious? You're going to have to find out in the next live stream on next Thursday. But yeah, Ravi, we will do our mock interview next week. Because it is a ton of editing to do these collaborations, and I'm starting to realize that is not really primo content for the general user and the general person who maybe not is so super interested in data science. Ultimately, I want to be able to brand this channel as, 6 figures in 6 months, right? You can do it in a couple of different ways. You don't have to become a data scientist for it. A lot of people don't want to learn the math required and the modeling behind it. So Wilson says, that begs the question, how many hours a night do I sleep? That's a personal question. That's like asking a gentleman how much I weigh. And I cannot answer that question. And then Muhammad has a message retracted. I was recording you, Muhammad. I could just find out what your question was. Just kidding. Rhea says, cool, looking forward. Thank you, Rhea. Thanks for showing up. Rhea is awesome. Check out her interview where we talk about her time as a bioinformatics student in Greece. And she's still a student in Greece. Which patron tier includes games of Among Us? Frankson, what a good question. It is going to be this one, every one of them. They all include games of Among Us. If you become a patron, I do want to know if this is the right tiers, right? I don't want to. Patreon said I should do $3 a month at least. So, you know what? I'm just going to turn this into 4. Seeing it now. The prices are rising. But I will turn this lead one into 8. All right. So now we Because, and the reason why is not because I'm crazy or greedy, is because if it's $3 or less, Patreon charges more, and it just doesn't make as much sense. So that's why $4 charges are actually just slightly better. Okay. Muhammad says, what advice will you give students who are really terrible? How many patrons do I have, actually? Let me check. Maybe one of you is being sponsored right now. No, 0. 0 patrons. Get on it. Get on it. How about this? I'm going to do an announcement. The first 5 patrons, no matter what level, is going to get a free coaching session from me. How about that? I'm gonna walk you through your resume. I'm gonna do a mock interview. This is a $200 session, but I want some patrons on here. So the first 5 patrons, you're hearing me now. I'm gonna make an announcement after this. First 5 patrons are gonna get a free session from me. Period. Period. You are gonna get a free session from me. What advice will you give to students who are really terrible at math, but want to learn math and they are not able to learn? They think it's hard. Oh, what a good question. I love that question. I'm giddy. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just having a really good time with that question. The answer is math is only fun for certain types of brains. I've started to notice it's fun for my brain because my brain is about order and about trying to optimize everything in my life. So that's why I'm like, oh, I gotta kind of get on the math game whenever a question is analytical or requires some sort of mathematical structure. I will say that, like my $0 data science video, which you should check out, you do not need to start with math. The questions that you'll be asked on an interview are very rarely mathematical questions. They're more often times business inference questions based on statistical concepts. That's the closest to math question, right? If you're asked a math question, you're probably going for a research scientist position or a machine learning engineer position, right? You're most likely just have to master SQL, and then the math will come for your first role. That means that your first role is not going to be that data science-y, but that's okay because it's going to prop you up. Any kind of data science role on your resume is going to prop you up for the next actual data science role. That's a promise. Rexon says, what patron? Okay, yeah, I already said that. Devarsh says, wow, who is Ravi Tanwar? Who is Ravi Tanwar indeed? And we have a whole interview with him on this channel. Wilson says, how much do I weigh? I weigh 100 pounds lean muscle. Just kidding, I weigh 250 pounds. Frankson says, lol, nice. And Muhammad says, please stream 10 minutes more. Muhammad, I'm on the clock here. I'm on the clock for Muhammad right now. How about this? If I get 1 patron, Muhammad, do you have $4? If I get 1 patron, is it okay to hustle like this? If I get 1 patron in the next 2 minutes, I will stream for 10 minutes more. I'm watching. I swear that I thought that Patreon was actually Patronion. Like, didn't realize that that's what it was. This is a cosmic tip jar. Let me tell you about the Patreon's, just in case you're interested in becoming a creator. The way that Patreon works is that they actually get basics. Hold on. What? Well, they get money based on what you get charged. So the pro program, $3 or less, 5% plus 10 cents tip, and then over $3 is, oh, is this actually more? Am I dumb? Wilson says good answers. Hold on, let me do the math right now. So $3 or less. Well, 5% of $3. Oh yeah, Google doesn't autocomplete math anymore. That's actually one of the biggest problems. 15 cents. Yeah. $4 is worse. $4 is worse because it's 5 cents plus 10. Hold on. 5% plus 3 times plus 10. So that's 25 cents. And then $4 is 4 times 0.029 plus 30. That's 40 cents. I'm giving them 10 free cents. Oh, I do math bad. So if you want me to, should I return intern level to $3? Maybe. This is a poll. Poll for me and for you. Muhammad, I haven't gotten a patron yet. So this is the last question I'll answer for this live stream, but I'll be back next week with Ravi Tanwar. Have you been to LA, and if yes, what is the best LA, SF or LA? I have been to LA. I've been stuck in like almost 6 hours of traffic in LA. So I have to say, because of that, well, pre-pandemic time, LA was terrible to live in because you can't get anywhere. But LA is really close to a couple of cool things. It's close to a couple of great beaches, which SF is not close to. LA is also close to LA has a different culture, so it's like Hollywood and the South Bay culture. I would actually say that SF and LA don't hold a candle to San Diego. So my Yuko's there, and she came from SF. So if you have the desire to live somewhere nice, I think San Diego is probably your best bet. But with that said, with a plug for San Diego and a plug for my Patreon, I am going to honor the announcement that the first 5 patrons I get are going to get a free session with me. One whole session that I am selling on my website for how much? How much? $169. So I should just make this more clear. Hold on. You get 2 more minutes with me while I do one more edit. Oh wait, this is the 66 days of data. Instead of take the leap, I'm gonna call it mentorship. Mentorship? Coaching? Should I call it mentorship or coaching? Coaching. Okay. All right. With that said, see you guys. Have a good day, and as always, peace.